The Didnt Collective was a civilization renowned for its technological advancements and highly structured society. Their governance relied on a collective hive mind system where decisions were made through precise calculations and data-driven analysis. To the Didnt, efficiency was paramount, and concepts like leisure and play were seen as distractions from progress. When the Didnt made contact with humanity, they were intrigued by Earth's achievements but perplexed by its culture. One aspect of human life that the Didnt found particularly baffling was the concept of games, especially board games. The idea of engaging in competitive, rule-based activities for enjoyment seemed incomprehensible to a species that valued productivity above all else. Among the human delegation sent to establish diplomatic ties with the Didnt was Dr. Elena Yu, a cultural anthropologist and avid board game enthusiast. Elena believed that games could serve as a universal language, a way to bridge the gap between their vastly different worlds. Games are more than just entertainment, she explained during an early exchange. They teach strategy, negotiation, and collaboration. They reflect the way we approach challenges and solve problems. The Didnt, led by Overseer HFY, responded with skepticism. Your games appear to waste resources and time, HFY said. How can they serve any productive purpose? Elena smiled, undeterred. Let me show you, she said, presenting a well-worn Monopoly board. This game teaches resource management, strategic thinking, and negotiation. It's a reflection of how we balance competition and cooperation. Despite their reservations, the Didnt agreed to observe a demonstration. Elena invited several members of the delegation to join her for a game, carefully explaining the rules and mechanics. At first, the Didnt participants approached the game with rigid logic, treating each move as a purely mathematical exercise. However, as the game progressed, something unexpected happened. The Didnt began to engage with the social aspects of the game. They observed how Elena negotiated trades and formed temporary alliances, recognizing patterns of collaboration and competition that mirrored the complexities of human diplomacy. Overseer HFY, who had been quietly observing from the sidelines, took a particular interest in the concept of negotiation. Your approach to resource distribution is intriguing, they said. It is both structured and adaptable. The turning point came when a territorial dispute over the mineral-rich planet Nevera escalated into a diplomatic crisis. Both humanity and the Didnt claimed ownership of the planet, citing conflicting historical records and strategic interests. Tensions rose, and the possibility of armed conflict loomed. Elena, desperate to prevent war, proposed an unorthodox solution, a game of Monopoly to determine the outcome. This game can serve as a simulation of resource management and negotiation, she argued. It will allow us to explore solutions without resorting to violence. The proposal was met with skepticism and resistance. Some members of the human delegation dismissed the idea as trivial, while the Didnt questioned its validity as a decision-making tool. However, with no other options, both sides reluctantly agreed to the experiment. The game was set up in a neutral meeting space, with a mix of human and Didnt representatives participating. Overseer HFY, intrigued by the potential for a structured yet flexible approach to diplomacy, volunteered to represent the Didnt. Elena, serving as the mediator, ensured that the rules were clearly understood and adhered to. As the game unfolded, it became clear that Monopoly was more than just a simulation. It was a microcosm of the challenges and opportunities inherent in diplomacy. The Didnt players, initially focused solely on accumulating resources, began to see the value of negotiation and compromise. The human players, in turn, learned to adapt their strategies to the Didnt's logical approach. The pivotal moment came when HFY proposed a trade that balanced the interests of both sides, demonstrating a willingness to prioritize long-term cooperation over short-term gain. The negotiation process, though tense, resulted in a resolution that both sides found acceptable. For the first time, humanity and the Didnt saw each other not as adversaries, but as partners capable of finding common ground. The success of the Monopoly experiment led to a broader agreement that established Nevera as a shared resource zone, governed jointly by humans and the Didnt. The resolution was celebrated as a triumph of creativity and collaboration, with both sides acknowledging the role that a simple board game had played in averting conflict. For Elena, the experience was a validation of her belief in the power of games to connect and inspire. Games are not just a pastime, she said during a press conference. They are a reflection of who we are and how we navigate the complexities of life. Back on Earth, the story of how Monopoly negotiated peace captured the public's imagination. Board game sales surged, and interstellar game nights became a popular form of cultural exchange. The Didnt, once dismissive of leisure activities, began exploring other Earth games, discovering the joy and insight they offered. For Overseer HFY, the journey journey was deeply transformative. Reflecting on their role in the negotiations, they said, "The game taught us that logic and strategy are important, but so are adaptability and empathy. Through play, we found a way to coexist. Under the light of distant stars, where rules and possibilities intertwined, the legacy of a single board game lived on, a testament to the power of creativity, the courage to embrace the unfamiliar, and the connections that unite us all." The success of the Monopoly experiment reverberated far beyond the immediate resolution of the Nevera dispute. Humanity and the Zarnith found themselves at the forefront of a new era of interstellar relations, with the board game serving as an unlikely catalyst for deeper collaboration. Inspired by the unexpected outcome, Elena proposed the creation of an interstellar games exchange, a program designed to share Earth's games with the Zarnith and other interested civilizations. The first event, held aboard a neutral station orbiting Nevera, drew representatives from multiple species. Participants brought games from their own cultures to share, creating a vibrant tapestry of play that highlighted the diversity of thought and strategy. The Zarnith introduced a game called Logic Spiral, a mathematical puzzle that tested players' deductive reasoning, while the human delegation showcased classics like chess and Settlers of Catan. Overseer KLYRN, now an advocate for the power of games, took an active role in the exchange. They expressed particular interest in chess, drawn to its structured yet dynamic gameplay. "This game mirrors our decision-making process," KLYRN observed. "It requires foresight, adaptability, and the ability to predict your opponent's moves." The exchange fostered a sense of camaraderie among the participants, who began to see games not as mere diversions but as tools for communication and understanding. It also paved the way for joint projects between humanity and the Zarnith, including collaborative research initiatives and cultural exchanges. However, not everyone embraced the newfound focus on games. Critics within the Zarnith collective argued that the time and resources devoted to leisure activities detracted from the species' core mission of technological advancement. A faction known as the Efficiency Advocates launched a campaign to curtail the interstellar games exchange, claiming that it undermined the values of the collective. Faced with mounting opposition, KLYRN and Elena worked together to demonstrate the practical benefits of games. They organized a high-stakes demonstration in which a game of Settlers of Catan was used to model resource distribution on Nevera. The simulation, observed by members of the Efficiency Advocates, highlighted how the principles of negotiation and cooperation inherent in the game could inform real-world policies. The demonstration was a turning point. While some advocates remained unconvinced, others began to see the value of integrating creative problem-solving techniques into the Zarnith's decision-making processes. KLYRN, in a public address, articulated their evolving perspective. "Efficiency is not merely the absence of waste. It is the ability to achieve harmony between logic and creativity, structure and flexibility. Games have shown us a new way to approach our challenges." Meanwhile, Elena continued to expand the interstellar games exchange, traveling to distant worlds to introduce Earth's games and learn about the traditions of other civilizations. On the aquatic planet Theranix, she encountered a species that used bioluminescent patterns to create cooperative puzzle games. On the crystalline moons of Valari, she marveled at a game that simulated the orbits of celestial bodies. Each encounter deepened Elena's conviction that games were a universal language, capable of transcending even the most profound cultural differences. "Through play, we discover not only our shared humanity," she said during a keynote address, "but also the unique perspectives that make each of us extraordinary." Back on Nevera, the joint governance experiment faced its own challenges. Disagreements over resource allocation and environmental policies tested the alliance between humanity and the Zarnith. However, the spirit of collaboration fostered by the Interstellar Games Exchange provided a foundation for resolving these conflicts. In one notable instance, a dispute over water rights was addressed through a game designed specifically for the purpose. The game, called Flow Dynamics, simulated the complexities of water distribution and encouraged players to develop equitable solutions. The success of the game in resolving the dispute cemented its place as a tool for diplomacy and governance. As the Harmony Games Initiative, as it came to be known, continued to grow, it inspired a generation of scientists, artists, and diplomats to explore the intersections of logic, creativity, and play. For Elena and KLYRN, the journey was a testament to the transformative power of games, not just as a form of entertainment, but as a bridge between worlds. Under the Endless Stars, where strategy and imagination intertwined, the legacy of a single board game continued to unfold, a timeless reminder that even the simplest acts of play could create ripples of understanding and unity across the galaxy. As the Harmony Games initiative flourished, its influence began to ripple across the galaxy. Delegates from newly discovered civilizations arrived at the Harmony Zone to participate in the exchange of games and ideas. Each encounter brought fresh perspectives and challenges, broadening the scope of the initiative and pushing its participants to adapt and innovate. One of the most intriguing arrivals was the Nomai Confederation, a nomadic species whose members lived aboard massive starships. The Nomai were renowned for their advanced navigation systems and complex societal structures, but their cultural practices were shrouded in mystery. When the Nomai presented their contribution to the Harmony Games initiative, a game called Stellar Labyrinth, it captured the imagination of all who played it. Stellar Labyrinth was a cooperative game that required players to navigate a holographic starfield, working together to avoid black holes and other celestial hazards while reaching their destination. The game emphasized communication, trust, and strategic planning, offering a glimpse into the Nomai's values and way of life. KLYRN, fascinated by the Nomai's approach to play, invited them to collaborate on a new project, the Celestial Nexus, a large-scale simulation that combined elements of Stellar Labyrinth with Earth games like chess and Monopoly. The Nexus, designed to accommodate players from multiple civilizations, became the centerpiece of the Harmony Games initiative and a symbol of interstellar cooperation. Meanwhile, Elena continued to explore the potential of games as tools for education and conflict resolution. She worked with a team of human and Zarnith developers to create Unity Engine, a platform that allowed users to design their own games based on specific challenges or goals. The platform quickly gained popularity, with users creating games that addressed everything from environmental conservation to diplomatic strategy. One such game, Terraformer's Dilemma, was used to mediate a dispute between the Zarnith and the Aquili, a species with a strong connection to their planet's ecosystems. The game simulated the impact of terraforming on a fragile environment, encouraging players to find solutions that balanced technological progress with ecological preservation. The experience led to a breakthrough in negotiations, resulting in the creation of a joint research initiative on sustainable development. Despite these successes, the Harmony Games initiative faced growing resistance from traditionalists within the Zarnith collective. The efficiency advocates, though diminished in influence, continued to argue that the focus on games diverted resources from more pressing priorities. A faction within humanity echoed these concerns, questioning whether the initiative's benefits justified its cost. KLYRN and Elena, recognizing the need to address these criticisms, organized a summit to showcase the initiative's achievements and demonstrate its broader value. The event, held on Nevera, featured presentations, workshops, and live demonstrations of games that had made a tangible impact on interstellar relations. The highlight of the summit was a grand tournament of the Celestial Nexus, with participants from across the galaxy competing in teams to navigate its complex challenges. The final match, which pitted a mixed human Zarnith team against a Nomai Aquili team, drew a massive audience and highlighted the importance of collaboration and adaptability. As the tournament reached its climax, KLYRN delivered a speech that captured the essence of the Harmony Games initiative. Through play, we have learned to see each other not as competitors, but as partners, they said. Games have shown us that even the most complex problems can be approached with creativity and empathy. They have reminded us that unity is not a weakness, it is our greatest strength. The summit's success reinvigorated support for the initiative, silencing many of its detractors and cementing its place as a cornerstone of interstellar diplomacy. For Elena and KLYRN, the event was a validation of their belief in the transformative power of games and a testament to the vision they had shared from the beginning. As the Harmony Games initiative entered its third decade, its impact continued to grow. Games became a staple of interstellar education, with schools incorporating them into curricula to teach critical thinking, collaboration, and cultural awareness. Diplomats used games to break the ice during tense negotiations, while scientists drew inspiration from game mechanics to solve complex problems. Under the endless expanse of the cosmos, where imagination and strategy intertwined, the legacy of the Harmony Games initiative endured, a timeless reminder that even the simplest acts of play could forge connections that transcended borders and bridged the stars. As the Harmony Games initiative matured, its participants began to explore the deeper implications of games as reflections of societal values. Researchers from multiple civilizations collaborated on studies that analyzed game mechanics and strategies, uncovering insights into the ways cultures approached conflict, cooperation, and problem-solving. programming. One groundbreaking study, conducted jointly by human and Zarnath scholars, revealed how the balance between competition and collaboration in games mirrored the dynamics of successful diplomacy. The findings were presented at the Interstellar Academy of Social Sciences and sparked a wave of interest in applying game theory to real-world challenges. Meanwhile, the Nomai, inspired by their experiences in the Harmony Games Initiative, proposed the creation of a traveling games festival that would bring the spirit of play to remote and underserved communities. The festival, named the Celestial Caravan, featured portable versions of popular games, live performances, and workshops designed to teach game design and strategy. Elena and KLYRN eagerly supported the initiative, seeing it as an opportunity to expand the reach of their vision. The Celestial Caravan's first journey took it to the outer rim of the galaxy, where isolated colonies and frontier settlements welcomed its arrival with open arms. For many, the festival was their first exposure to the Harmony Games Initiative and its message of unity through play. The caravan quickly became a symbol of hope and connection, bringing joy and inspiration to all who encountered it. However, the caravan's success also drew the attention of those who opposed the Harmony Games Initiative. A coalition of efficiency advocates and human isolationists launched a campaign to discredit the initiative, accusing it of prioritizing frivolity over progress. Their arguments gained traction in some circles, creating a new wave of skepticism that threatened to undermine the initiative's achievements. Faced with this challenge, Elena and KLYRN decided to organize a galactic council summit to address concerns and reaffirm the importance of the Harmony Games Initiative. The summit, held on the newly established Nexus Station, brought together leaders, scholars, and citizens from across the galaxy to discuss the role of games in shaping interstellar relations. The highlight of the summit was a keynote address delivered by KLYRN, who spoke passionately about their personal journey and the lessons they had learned through the initiative. Games are not a diversion, they said. They are a mirror. They reflect our strengths, our weaknesses, and our potential. They challenge us to think creatively, to adapt, and to connect. And in doing so, they help us grow. Elena followed with a presentation that showcased the initiative's tangible impacts, from conflict resolution to educational advancements. She shared stories of individuals whose lives had been transformed by the Harmony Games Initiative, including a young Zarnath engineer who credited a game-inspired simulation with sparking their groundbreaking invention in sustainable energy. The summit concluded with a collaborative game session that invited participants to design a new game together, combining elements from their respective cultures. The result was Unity Nexus, a cooperative strategy game that symbolized the spirit of the Harmony Games Initiative. The game quickly became a galactic bestseller, cementing its creator's message of collaboration and understanding. As the Harmony Games Initiative entered its fourth decade, it faced new challenges and opportunities. The rise of artificial intelligence and virtual reality opened new frontiers for game design, allowing players to immerse themselves in simulated worlds and experience the perspectives of other species. These innovations sparked debates about the ethics and implications of such technologies, pushing the initiative to adapt and evolve. For Elena and KLYRN, the journey had been one of discovery and transformation. Reflecting on their partnership, Elena said, "We started with a simple idea, that games could bring us together. What we found was that they could do so much more. They could teach us, inspire us, and remind us of what it means to be connected. Under the endless expanse of the cosmos, where challenges and possibilities abounded, the legacy of the Harmony Games Initiative continued to grow, a timeless testament to the power of imagination, the courage to embrace the unfamiliar, and the connections that unite us all." As the Harmony Games Initiative became a cornerstone of galactic culture, its influence extended into unexpected areas. Economists began to explore how game mechanics could inform trade policies, while engineers adapted strategies from games to optimize infrastructure development. Even the medical field embraced game-inspired simulations to train doctors and improve patient care. One of the most ambitious projects born from the initiative was the Stellar Concordance, a galaxy-wide network that used gamified systems to encourage collaboration on interstellar challenges. Participants from diverse civilizations competed and cooperated to tackle issues such as climate change, resource distribution, and public health. The Concordance quickly became a unifying force, fostering a sense of shared purpose and mutual accountability. For KLYRN, the Stellar Concordance was a culmination of their journey. As they reflected on the path that had brought them from skepticism to advocacy, they found themselves deeply moved by the stories of individuals whose lives had been changed by the Harmony Games Initiative. One such story involved a young human diplomat who had used the principles of negotiation learned from Monopoly to resolve a territorial dispute between two warring factions. Meanwhile, Elena dedicated her efforts to documenting the initiative's legacy. She authored a series of books that chronicled the rise of of the Harmony Games Initiative and its impact on interstellar relations. Her final volume, Games of the Infinite: Stories from the Harmony Zone, became a bestseller, offering readers a glimpse into the lives and cultures that had been transformed by the power of play. The Harmony Games Initiative faced its greatest test when a new conflict emerged on the galactic frontier. A rapidly expanding empire known as the Dravan Dominion threatened to destabilize the fragile peace that the initiative had helped build. The Dravan, known for their militaristic approach, dismissed the Harmony Games Initiative as a trivial distraction and refused to engage in diplomatic talks. Determined to prevent war, Elena and KLYRN proposed a bold solution: a high-stakes game of Unity Nexus to serve as a proxy for negotiations. The proposal was met with resistance from both sides, but with few alternatives, the Dravan agreed to participate under strict conditions. The game, held in a neutral location, became a spectacle watched by billions across the galaxy. The Unity Nexus match was a test of strategy, collaboration, and resilience. As the game unfolded, the Dravan players began to recognize the value of cooperation and adaptability. KLYRN, leading the opposing team, used the game as an opportunity to demonstrate the principles of mutual benefit and shared goals. By the final turn, the match had shifted from a contest of dominance to a celebration of unity. The success of the Unity Nexus negotiation averted a galactic war and marked a turning point in the Dravan Dominion's relationship with the broader interstellar community. For Elena and KLYRN, it was a powerful validation of their belief that games could transcend even the most entrenched divisions. In the years that followed, the Harmony Games Initiative continued to evolve, embracing new technologies and ideas. Virtual reality allowed participants to experience games from the perspectives of other species, while artificial intelligence facilitated the creation of dynamic, adaptive game environments. These innovations expanded the initiative's reach and ensured its relevance for generations to come. As they entered the twilight of their careers, Elena and KLYRN reflected on the legacy they had built. Standing together at the opening of the Harmony Nexus Archive, a vast repository of games, stories, and cultural artifacts, they shared a moment of quiet pride and gratitude. "We started with a board game," Elena said, her voice filled with emotion, "and we ended with a galaxy united by the simple act of play." KLYRN nodded, their expression thoughtful. "Games taught us that even in the face of conflict and uncertainty, there is always a way forward. They reminded us that logic and creativity, competition and collaboration are not opposites but complements. And they showed us that unity is not a destination. It is a journey. Under the infinite expanse of the cosmos, where possibilities and challenges intertwined, the legacy of the Harmony Games Initiative shone brightly. It was a timeless reminder that through imagination, resilience, and the courage to embrace the unfamiliar, even the simplest acts could change the course of history and light the way to a brighter future. Centuries after the inception of the Harmony Games Initiative, its impact was felt in every corner of the galaxy. The games that had once been seen as simple diversions had become tools for education, innovation, and unity. The Harmony Nexus Archive stood as a testament to what could be achieved when civilizations chose to connect through creativity and collaboration. Generations of scholars, diplomats, and dreamers visited the archive to study its treasures, drawing inspiration from the stories and games preserved within. Among them was a young Zarnath poet who, inspired by the legacy of the initiative, wrote a verse that became a universal anthem for the power of play. "Across the stars we found our way, through logic's dance and games of play. Together bound, yet freely roam. In every move we find our home." The poem, recited in schools and gatherings across the galaxy, encapsulated the spirit of the Harmony Games Initiative. It was a reminder that even in the vastness of the universe, the simple act of coming together could create something extraordinary. Elena, in her final years, often reflected on the journey that had brought her from a small university on Earth to the heart of an interstellar movement. "It wasn't just about games," she said during her last public appearance. "It was about what they represented: the courage to try, the willingness to listen, and the belief that even the smallest gestures can create ripples of change." KLYRN, too, looked back with a sense of fulfillment. As they prepared to step down from their role as ambassador, they composed a final statement that was displayed at the Harmony Nexus Archive. "In every game, there is a lesson. In every move, a choice. Through the act of play, we discovered not just each other, but ourselves. And in doing so, we created a legacy that will endure as long as the stars." Under the endless expanse of the cosmos, where new games were invented and old ones cherished, the legacy of the Harmony Games Initiative continued to shine, a beacon of hope, creativity, and connection. And as long as there were players willing to roll the dice, move the pieces, and imagine the possibilities, the spirit of play would live on, lighting the way to a brighter future for all.